Tonight, President Biden is speaking out a brand new interview with a Wisconsin radio host as he tries to quiet the growing calls for him to drop out of the presidential race. His messaging consistent with what we've heard from the White House.
I had a bad night, and the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
Out front now is the person who spoke with the president earlier today, Earl Ingram, host of the Earl Ingram Show. Earl, it's good to have you here tonight. We heard there President Biden addressing his poor debate performance. A second Democratic congressman tonight is now calling for him to step aside. Major donors also joining those public calls. What was your sense, Earl, after speaking with the president today? Is he fit to continue and to keep running?
I think that's a decision that will clearly have to be made by himself and his family and those in the political arena who know him best. He certainly didn't appear to show me the signs of a guy who's ready to throw in the towel. He was as combative as he's been, in the last, year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a guy who's ready to throw in the towel.
I know you have a daily radio show there in Wisconsin. This is a crucial state. I know I don't need to tell you that come November. And this has been dominating the conversation. Your listeners, as I understand it, they're mainly Democrats. How do they feel? What are they telling you?
Well, this morning for 2 hours, my phone lines were completely jammed as we had the conversation and the debate on whether or not this is something that should occur. And I can tell you that the majority of the listening audience thought that we should leave it as it is. And it's a big mistake for the Democratic Party to attempt to force this on them as well as Joe Biden. And I think the operative thing is on them. Mm-hmm. Many of these people are dug in. They love Joe Biden. They think that it's too late. They think it's a mistake. They're so concerned about Donald Trump, they want the focus to be on Donald Trump. And they somehow think that what we're doing is missing the opportunity to get people to understand that this focus is on Donald Trump and it shouldn't be on President Biden, which I disagree with, by the way.
I mean, disagree with how?
With the fact that we should not have a conversation. It's part of the political system. Mm-hmm. To say that there are things that you can't discuss when we're talking about who is going to be the most powerful person in the world doesn't make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. And so that's not part of the democratic process. And it can't be about emotion. It has to be about reasoning and what's right and what's mm-hmm. wrong. And that only comes through debate.
I know you asked the president today about Donald Trump's comments during the debate regarding what he referred to as black jobs. Here's part of what the president had to say.
You know what he's doing. It's shameful. He's talking about black jobs, meaning all the things that blacks can do are manual labor, menial labor. That's what he's doing. That's how he looks at it.
What else did the president bring up with you? Did he touch on that he seemed concerned about in the wake of the debate in terms of the conversation?
Well, there's a plethora of things when you look at the conditions that exist and have existed in Black America. I'm 70 years old. We just celebrated the 60-year anniversary of the Civil Rights Bill. And here it is, 60 years later, and the income, the disparity gap in this nation is abysmal. Black Americans, on average, $45,000 a year. White Americans, well over $260,000 a year. Is absolutely unconscionable mm-hmm. that after all these years, that still exists. To Joe Biden's credit, he's attempted to address those issues. He certainly has made it a priority, but he hasn't been able to make these things all a reality because, he's had a couple of Democrats, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, who interfered with what he was attempting to make happen. I can tell you that he's been able to accomplish some things that have made it more palatable for the poor and people of color and downtrodden in this nation to have an opportunity to let people realize that, hey, there is somebody who does care about them.
Earl Ingram, really appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight and sharing a little bit more of that conversation, and especially what we've heard from your listeners. That full interview, of course, airs tomorrow on the Earl Ingram Show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alfred